up, Syracuse students? Look at our campus. We're pretty inclusive, right? What about outside the walls of our university?
My name is John Greglis. I am a freshman, and I am a public relations major.
We come from all different parts of the world. We're pretty inclusive, right? Right? What about outside the walls of our university? We're pretty inclusive, right?
Oil City is a small town with small town values. That's why I moved away 25 years ago. But when I got married, I put my wedding announcement in the paper back home. I wasn't sure where it would lead.
I was sick to my stomach when I saw and read the announcement.
Homosexuality is immoral.
It would be better for you not to have been born. Think about that.
Dear Mr. Wilson, I'm the mother of a 16-year-old boy who is being treated unjustly because he is gay.
Every day when the bus stopped and I walked to that door, to my locker, became 8 hours of pure hell.
He was vulnerable, he was scared, he was suicidal.
If I grant two men the right to get married, what's wrong with incest or polygamy or...
We come against the strongholds of sin in this city in the name of Jesus.
I was hired at this firm and I worked there about 6 months, and then after the Christmas party and I took my partner, the president of the company came in a few days later and fired me.
It seemed like it was still safer to be silent than to be out in my hometown. Hadn't anything changed in 25 years?
I had in mind when I met someone that it would be a year before I even kissed them. But all of a sudden, I have a family now. I'm probably gonna cry because it's like people are coming through.
I used to have like a reputation and stuff as a badass and all this stuff.
Do you think there will come a time when we don't disagree about the place that gay people have in the world?
That would be a big change for me.
If all this city wants is churches, then what do they need an Art Deco theater for?
There's nothing you could possibly be in this world that would ever make me stop loving you.
Oil City is different than I remember. But this story isn't about me or why I left. It's about the people who stay and have the courage to be open about who they are. It's about what small-town values really mean.
I am gay. I'm always very aware of the fact that there's a chance that someone might not be very accepting of my point of view and myself, and that's okay. And you know, that's what makes America great. We're all very different, and you know, for me, it's more of a communication thing. Is I need to teach people and I need to show people that not everyone's like them, and that people are a little different, and that you have to be accepting and embracing of different people. What prevented me from coming out during high school was, besides the fact of living in a small town and, you know, having that aspect of any news is big news, and the fact that, you know, political point of views clashed and different viewpoints clashed. It just was, you know, my family still wasn't, he's not very comfortable with it, and you know, I didn't know how my really close friends would accept it. You know, I felt like if I got away first and then came back, it would be a little easier because there was some space between us and we all had time to grow and to learn. And because we were submerged in this kind of fishbowl, we saw each other every single day, all the time, it would have been difficult, I thought.
Students here are from a lot of smaller towns, so I guess that really adds to the uncomfortable. I mean, I feel like if I was somebody that really wanted to serve my country and their is still the issue of don't ask, don't tell. I feel like I would have to act a little differently as far as my voice and physicalities go, just because there are, I mean, I am generalized as gay in the few minutes people meet me, so in order to join the Army, I feel like I would have to completely act different. Some people are very flamboyant, some people aren't flamboyant at all. I'm somewhere in the middle, but I definitely would not be able to act myself, which I would find very unfair and uncomfortable. Definitely couldn't talk about anybody I was dating, even to, say, people I was living with or serving with, just because it runs the risk of them telling an officer. But pretty much hiding myself in general, I mean, personally.
What's your opinion on don't ask, don't tell?
I think it's bullshit. I really don't understand why it has anything to do with serving for your country, and how it's not that I don't see how. I know for a fact that it doesn't change anyone's ability to fight, or not even just fight, just serve in any sense. I mean, it actually angers me a lot because I have a cousin in the Army. I know for it's not my thing. I don't want to fight. I mean, I don't want to serve the Army at all, not even Marines or anything, but if I wanted to, I feel like I should have that right.
Mm-hmm. And you feel like you don't have it?
I don't, definitely. I wouldn't feel comfortable joining.
Okay.
Okay, do you think anyone in ROTC is gay?
I can't speculate on that at all. I couldn't tell you even if I knew, so I can't speculate.
That's fine. If someone came out who's in ROTC, what do you think would happen?
Well, I know that any laws or rights they have would be upheld, and there wouldn't be any real punishment or anything. It would pretty much be whatever laws and rights there are now. They would be upheld, and I don't make policy. We just follow.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anu Bagwadi, and I'm a former Marine Corps captain. I served for 5 years with many gay and lesbian Marines, both enlisted and officer. My best friend in the Marines was an incredible officer. She was also a lesbian. As a result, she wasn't allowed to live a normal life. While I could walk down the street holding the hand of my male partner, she could not do the same with her loved one for fear of being outed. Despite the enormous strains of living under the don't ask, don't tell policy, my friend enthusiastically volunteered to serve for a year in Iraq, knowing that because she was a lesbian, she wouldn't be able to easily correspond with her partner back home. A year after she returned home from Iraq, she was discharged under the don't ask, don't tell policy. What happened to my friend was unfair, wrong, and un-American. And yet her story is common, especially as it concerns women in the military. While women only make up 15% of the entire armed forces, they make up almost 50% of last year's Army and Air Force discharges under don't ask, don't tell. Race is another factor that is relevant in these discharges. African American women are discharged under don't ask, don't tell at 3 times the rate that they serve in the military. These statistics are not evidence that the military is upholding unit cohesion, good order and discipline, or any of the other convenient catchphrases used by the proponents of this archaic and useless policy. These statistics are, at the least, shocking and at the worst, shameful. Numbers like this originate from an ugly context which we have to discuss. Sexual harassment of women in uniform is pervasive. Lesbian baiting is simply another insidious manifestation of sexual harassment. Many servicewomen risk 2 equally devastating prospects as far as their professional careers are concerned. Either resist a serviceman's advances and be labeled lesbian, or don't resist and get labeled promiscuous. Being labeled a lesbian, even by rumor, can prompt an investigation that ends in a discharge under don't ask, don't tell. I currently direct Servicewomen's Action Network, SWAN, a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization that serves both current U.S. servicewomen and women veterans. SWAN's About Face initiative exposes the disproportionate targeting of servicewomen, and servicewomen of color in particular, by the Don't Ask, Don't Tell policy. I was proud to wear the uniform and proud to serve my country. Don't Ask, Don't Tell is a blemish on the spirit with which Americans choose to serve and on the values which we defend. Thank you.
Stereotypes that I think people have in general about homosexuals, that they're, you know, very flamboyant, that they are kind of loud and obnoxious, that they're confused, that they are sexually driven all of the time. Those are the few that I can think of off the top of my head. Personally, I think over the years, you know, even before I had admitted my sexuality, I would say that I was stereotyped as being, you know, that flamboyant, over the top. You know, I liked, you know, feminine things, or, you know, I had feminine interests. And what was the other part of it?
What do you not want people to stereotype?
That's okay. You know, I think what's important to remember about stereotypes in regards to homosexuals is that, you know, they put a name on them and they really classify them as something. And, you know, it's unfortunate because it's not what anyone wants, but I think that stereotypes are a natural reaction to something that people aren't educated about and something that people aren't sure about, and I think that only comes from communication and education. So stereotype is just, it's like a backlash to everything, and I think it's just important that people just learn, and then the ugly or negative stereotypes will kind of wane away.
Okay. We're pretty inclusive, right? Do you really want to live in a country where it's acceptable for only certain people to enjoy the rights that provide for a healthy and happy life? What if you couldn't? Would you live the same life if some of your rights were taken away? Would you want to walk down the street being subject to glares, snobs, and isolation? Stand up not only for gay people, but for our country. Don't let it be defined by the discriminators and the excluders. Speak out against gay discrimination and spread the hope that one day our country can be completely inclusive, ensuring everyone to the right to live happily and freely.